Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. On today's video tutorial, guys, we're going to be going through the grade 12 Mathematical Literacy Paper 1 that was written in June 2022, right? And in this video tutorial, guys, we're going to be focusing on question 1.1. And in question 1.1, guys, we are basically dealing with finance, right? We're going to be calculating cost price, selling price, as well as profit. And we're also going to be calculating ratios. So if you know those are the topics that are currently giving you grief, please make sure that you watch this entire video tutorial. And also please make sure that you download this past paper. I'll put the link to the past paper down below in the description box. So please make sure that you download the past paper. And also please make sure that you attempt the questions on your own. Once you've attempted the questions on your own, please play the video tutorial, right, and follow with me. And also, before we get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you have clicked on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also please make sure that you click on that like button, because that really helps the channel grow and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks. All right, guys, so without any further ado, let us get started with today's video tutorial. Alright, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing question 1.1 in this video tutorial, and it deals with finance, right? We're going to be looking at cost price, selling price, profits, as well as calculating ratios, right? So let's look at the information that is given to us here. We are told that Yvette runs a small business from home, okay? She makes and sells lunch packs for learners, and she delivers them to school during their lunch break. We are told that table 1 shows the items per lunch pack and their respective cost prices. Okay, so we are told that Yvette, right, this lady Yvette runs a small business, and she runs this business from home. We are told that she makes these lunch packs and then she sells them to learners, right? And she also delivers these lunch packs to the learners at their schools during their lunch break. We are told that the table 1 that is provided for us here shows these items per lunch pack and their respective cost prices, right? So let's look at all the items that Yvette puts in these lunch packs now. So we can see that, okay, Yvette puts juice, she puts slices of bread, she puts cheese, she puts apples, she puts yogurt, and she puts sweets, okay? Then we are given the cost price in bulk for all these items. So when Yvette basically goes and stocks these items, this is how much she basically pays for these items in bulk, né? So when she buys a box of fruit juices, right? In that box, there's 24 fruit juices, and that costs her 135 rand, right? Then she buys white bread, right? Which is 18 slices of bread. This costs her 13.99 rand, right? She buys 54 slices of cheese. So each pack has 54 slices of cheese, and she pays 84.99 rand, okay? She buys apples, right? And we don't know how many apples are in this bag. We still need to calculate that, so I've put the X there, right? And she buys these apples, or this bag of apples for 22.99 rand. Right? She also buys yogurts, right? And each pack of yogurts has 6 yogurts, right? And she basically buys that for 10.99. And she also buys a pack of sweets, right? And inside that pack of sweets, you've got 24 sweets per pack. She pays 85 rand, right? And then she also buys your formal tray. I'll put a picture of what the formal tray looks like. And she pays 102.95 rand for 75 formal trays, okay? Then we're also given the item cost per lunch pack, right? So if we are told that she buys a box of fruit juices, and in that box there's 24 fruit juices, and she pays 135 rand, and we are told that one fruit juice is equal to 5 rand and 63 cents. How did they get to that item cost, right? So quickly, what they did here to get the price for one fruit juice is that the total price of the fruit juices, we already know that for 24 fruit juices, it costs 135 rand. Okay. And we want to find out what is the cost of one fruit juice. Okay. So we need to divide that by the total number of fruit juices in the box, right? So if we take 135 rand and you divide that by the total number of fruit juices in the box, right, which is 24, you will get that one fruit juice is actually equal to 5 rand and 63 cents, right? So that is basically how they got the item costs for all these items that were given to us here in the left. Okay, so let's just now have a look at the questions. It says that use the information above to answer the questions that follow. So we've already looked at the information above. So now let's start off and actually answer these questions. Question 1.1.1. Show how the cost of one yogurt was calculated, right? So we want to show how they got to the price of one yogurt. Né? So let's just have a look here. We were told that for a 6-pack of yogurt, right, it costs Yvette 10 rand and 99, right? And we were given that one yogurt is equal to 1 rand and 83 cents. So we want to now show how they got to that item cost of 1 rand and 83 cents. Okay, so what did they do? So like I mentioned, guys, you take the total cost of the yogurt and you divide it by the total number of yogurts per pack to get how much is the price of one yogurt. Okay, question 1.1.1, right? So you're going to take the total cost in bulk divided by the items in bulk to give us the cost for one item, right? Okay, so what was the total cost in bulk for the 6 yogurts? We saw that for 6 yogurts, right, Yvette pays 10 rand and 99 cents. Né? Then the items in bulk, how many items or how many yogurts were in there, or how many yogurts are there per pack, right? It's 6 yogurts, right? So if you take 10.99 and you divide it by 6, you'll get that the item cost of basically one yogurt is 1.831667. It goes on and on and on. And if you round this off to 2 decimal places, you'll find that it is 1.83. Okay, so that is how they got to the item cost of 1 rand and 83 cents. All right, next question. Determine the maximum number of apples per bag. Okay, so like I mentioned here, we were not told how many apples are in one bag, right? But we are given the price of those apples in bulk. Né? Okay, we're given the price of those apples in bulk, and we are also given the price of one apple, right? So how would we get the total number of apples that are actually in this packet? Okay, let's use this formula that we basically used here at the top, right? We said that the total cost in bulk divided by the items in bulk is equal to the cost of one item, right? So in this case, let's rewrite this formula. Total cost in bulk for the apples divided by the total items, and this will give us the cost of one item, right? So in this case, when it comes to the apples, right, we are given the total cost in bulk for these apples, né? And the total cost in bulk, right? Let's just go back. Okay, we are told that these apples in bulk, right, cost 22 rand and 99 cents, né? So we're gonna say 22 rand and 99 cents, right? Divided by the total items in bulk. So here, this is basically the unknown. We do not know how many apples are in a bag, right? So it's okay if we say that is X, ne? So that is basically our X, because that is basically our unknown. That's what we want to find out, X, ne? Which is equal to the cost of one item, right? So the cost of one apple is equal to R2.87. Okay, so now how would we solve for that X? Because we want to find out what that X is, guys. Ne? So here, guys, it becomes easy peasy. We isolate the X. Ne? How do we isolate the X? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blue to show how we isolate X. I'm going to start off by first multiplying by X. So multiply by X over 1 on this side, and multiply by X over 1 on this side. Why have I multiplied by X over 1? Because basically I want to cancel out the X here. Ne? Okay, I'll show you why I'm doing that. I want to cancel out the X on this side. Okay. And then if we do that, you'll see that on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, you'll be left with 22 Rand and 99 cents, which is equal to 2 Rand and 87 times X. Okay, so now the X is on the right-hand side. And then from there, guys, we can just divide by 2 Rand and 87 so that this X is isolated on the right. So 2 Rand and 87, if you divide by 2 Rand and 87 as well on the left hand side, what you do on the right hand side, you need to do on the left hand side. From here, we'll see that the X is isolated, 22 Rand and 99 cents divided by 2 Rand and 87 cents. We find that approximately, or at most, in one bag, we've got 8.01 apples. Okay, so this X is equal to 8.01 apples. But guys, you don't get 8.01 apples. They're not going to give you 8 apples and like a small chip of an apple, right? So if we basically round it off to the nearest whole number, we'll see that you have basically 8 apples. Okay, is equal to X. Okay, so basically here, 1.2, what is the maximum number of apples per bag? So from our calculations, we can see that the maximum number of apples per bag is 8 apples. Okay, I hope I didn't lose anyone here, but I thought it was great for me to basically introduce this formula, okay, for you guys to see how we can go about calculating things like maybe the cost of one item, as well as how many items are in a pack, given the total price of those items in a pack. Okay, so I hope I didn't lose anyone there. Question 1.1.3 show that the total cost to make one lunch pack is equal to 18 Rand and 36 cents. So we want to show, we are told, they're basically telling us that the cost to make one lunch pack is 18 Rand and 36 cents. Now we need to prove how they got to that figure of 18 Rand and 36 cents. Okay, how did they get to that figure? So what we're gonna do, okay, right, we're gonna look at all the items that Miss Yvette, okay, puts into a lunch pack, right? She puts 1 fruit juice, and then she puts 2 slices of bread, okay? Then she puts 1 slice of cheese. Then she puts 1 apple. Then she puts 1 yogurt. Then she puts 1 sweet, and then she puts 1, obviously, formal tray. She packages everything in 1 formal tray. So if you add up all these costs of these items, how much does it cost then to make 1 lunch pack, right? So that is basically what we're going to do. We're going to add up all these prices to get what is the cost of making 1 lunch pack, okay? So question 1.1.3, okay? So we said that it's going to be the price of the fruit juice. So for 1 fruit juice, okay, plus the 2 slices of bread. We are told that the 2 slices of bread collectively cost 1 rand and 55 cents, right? So we're going to add that plus 1 slice of cheese plus 1 apple plus 1 yogurt plus 1 packet of sweets, and then we package all of that in 1 4-mold tray, okay, to give us the cost of 1 lunch pack. Okay, so basically if we now substitute all these values, let's do that. Okay, so if you substitute all those values into your calculator, you'll get then that the price to make 1 lunch pack is actually that 18 rand and 36 cents, right? So that is basically how they got to their figure, right? They added all the item costs together, right, to get what the total cost is to make 1 lunch pack, okay? Next question. The profit Yvette makes per lunch pack is 16 rand and 64 cents, right? So here we need to calculate the selling price of 1 lunch pack, right? Okay. So if we are told that the profit that Yvette makes per lunch pack is 16 rand and 64 cents, then what is the selling price? How much does she sell 1 lunch pack for? Okay, so this is the formula that you guys should know. Okay, so the profit, right, that Yvette makes is equal to the selling price, right, minus the cost price. Okay, so that is basically how we calculate the profit. The profit that you make is basically how much you sell your items for minus how much you spend to basically buy your items. So it's your selling price minus your cost price. Ne? So in this context, we are told that, okay, we know that the cost price of, okay, so we are told that the cost price per lunch pack, right? In the previous question, guys, we calculated what is the cost of 1 lunch pack. Ne? So that is the cost price. We found that the cost price of 1 lunch pack is 18 rand and 36 cents, okay? And then in this question, we are told that the profit that she makes from selling 1 lunch pack, right, per lunch pack, is 16 rand and 64. So we're given basically the profit that she makes from selling 1 lunch pack, and that is what? 16 rand and 64 cents, right? So then how do we basically now calculate the selling price? Ne? Okay, how do we calculate the selling price? So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to take all these values. We know that the profit here is 16 rand and 64 cents, right? We know that the cost price is 18 rand and 36 cents. So what are we looking for? We are looking for the selling price. Ne? All right, so basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute all the values that we already know. Okay, so we know that the profit that she makes is what? 16 rand and 64 cents. We were given that, ne? The selling price, we don't know how much she sells the lunch packs for, ne? The cost price, we are given that the cost price was basically, we calculated that it's 18 rand and 36 cents, right? So this is our unknown, guys. That is the selling price. So we need to isolate the selling price, right, to find out how much she sells these lunch packs for. So how do we isolate the selling price, guys? You literally move this 18.36 towards the left hand side, and if you move a value to the left hand side, or when a value jumps the equal sign, the sign changes. So it's going to be 16 rand and 64 cents plus 18 rand and 36 cents to give us what the selling price is for 1 lunch pack, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, you'll see that Yvette sells these lunch packs for what? 35 rand. So that is the selling price for one lunch pack. All right. Okay, question 1.1.5. Define the term profit in the given context. Guys, if they tell you to define something using the given context, we basically can just look at the formula that we use to calculate the profits, right? So what do we see here from this formula? So I'm just going to highlight it for you guys so we can define profits in this given context. So what do we see? Profit is calculated by doing what? Taking the selling price and you minus the cost price, okay? So in this context, right, the profit is the difference between the selling price and the cost price that Yvette makes when selling the lunch packs, right? So profit is the difference between the selling price and the cost price that Yvette makes when she sells the lunch pack, right? So that is exactly what we're going to write. Right, so the profit is the difference between the selling price and the cost price Yvette makes when selling the lunch packs, right? So we literally just use this formula that we used in question 1.1.4 to basically define what a profit is, right? It is the difference between the selling price and the cost price, right? The difference between these two that Yvette makes when selling the lunch packs, right? Okay, and question 1.1.6, write down as a simplified ratio the bulk price of the 100% fruit juice to the bulk price of the sweets. Okay, so I love these questions, guys. They literally tell you what you need to do. Okay, how do we know that we're working with ratios? Because they said write it as a simplified ratio. Okay, and then what are we writing as a simplified ratio? The bulk price of the 100% fruit juice, right? So what is the bulk price of the 100% fruit juice? Okay, so let's go back. The bulk price of the 100% fruit juice is 135 rand. So let's write that down here. Okay, and then they say 2. So when you see that 2, you're going to put that colon there to the bulk price of the sweets. So what is the bulk price of the sweets? You're going to go here. The bulk price of the sweets is 85 rand. And we want to write this as a simplified ratio. Okay, so do you see that this question tells you exactly what you need to do? The bulk price of the 100% fruit juice to colon the bulk price of the sweets, ne? So let's rewrite that. Question 1.1.6. So the bulk price of the 100% fruit juice to the bulk price of the sweets. But we need to write this as a simplified ratio. We can't leave it like this, ne? So when you want to get your ratios, you want to usually have 1:something. So let's see what we want to do here. We want to get 1:something, ne? So you're going to divide each side by 135. So it's going to be 135. And if you divide this side also by 135, you will get 1:85 divided by 135 is equal to 17/27 if you're using the cashier calculator. And then we've got a problem here, guys. We can't leave this ratio as 1:17/27. So what do we need to do, right? You need to multiply the right-hand side by 27/1. What you do on the right-hand side, you need to do on the left-hand side, right? So if you times it by 27/1, 27/1 multiplied by 1 is equal to 27 is to 17/27 multiplied by 7/1. The 27 and the 27 cancel. You'll get 17/1. In other words, it is just 17, right? And this is basically the ratio of the 100% of the bulk price of the 100% fruit juice to the bulk price of the sweets in its simplified ratio. Okay, so the first thing we need to think of when you're calculating ratios, guys, is that, okay, to establish a ratio, we know that it needs to be 1:something. Okay, So that's the first thing that we did, okay? We divided the 135 by 135 so that we have 1:2 something on obviously the right hand side, ne? And then once we did that, we realized on the right hand side there's like a fraction, and we can't leave it like that, guys. Okay, we can't have 1:2 a fraction. That's not a proper ratio. Okay, so from there we saw that okay, we need to basically get rid of the denominator, right? 27 on the right hand side, and if you multiply by 27 on the right hand side, you need to multiply by 27 on the left hand side. Alternatively, or you can also do this question like this: if you got 135 is to 85, you can also do it like this. If you divide this side by 85, okay, and you also divide this side, what you do on the right hand side, you need to do on the left hand side by 85. You'll get 1:2. 135 divided by 85 gives you 27 over 17. Ne? And then we still have that problem there. We've got that fraction situation going on there. We do not want that. We want to get rid of the denominator 17. So if you multiply by 17 over 1 on this side, you need to also multiply by 17 over 1 on this side, right? If you multiply by 17 over 1, the 17 and the 17 cancel on the left-hand side, and you'll be left with 27. It's going to be 27 over 1. 1 multiplied by 17 over 1 is equal to 17. Okay, so you can do it that way or this way. Okay, you will still get the right answer. So that is basically how we do our ratios. All right, guys. So that is it for today's video tutorial. I hope it was super informative. How you basically calculate the profits. I think the take here is you guys need to understand the formula for calculating profit, guys. Very important when it comes to the section of cost price, selling price, right? You need to know how we calculate profits, and profits is equal to, it's your selling price minus your cost price. That basically gives you your profits. And if you know that basic formula, then you are able to basically tackle any problem. If they ask you to calculate cost price, if they ask you to calculate the profits, if they ask you to calculate the selling price, because you know that formula that we use for this section. Ne? Another thing that is also important in this question is basically understanding if you buy units in items in bulk and they give you the price for those items in bulk, how would you get the price for an individual item? You take the price of those items in bulk divided by the total number of items in that bulk pack, right, to give us what is the price of one item, right? Another important thing that we saw here is calculating ratios, right? You need to think of, okay, I want to get, the starting point is I need to get 1:2 something. So we can either divide the left side or the right side by whatever whole number you get in your left hand side or whatever whole number you get in the right hand side, right? So on the left side here, we divided by 135. And then we saw there was a problem. We had 17 over 27. We can't leave that as our ratio answer in simplified form. Therefore, we need to get rid of that denominator, which is 27. And to get rid of it, we need to multiply by 27 over 1. What you do on the right-hand side, you need to do on the left-hand side. And that was our final answer. Same as here. If we decide to have the 1 on the right-hand side, right, then you need to divide by 85. What you do on the right-hand side, you need to do on the left-hand side. But then you've got a problem. You can't leave your answer as 27 over 17. So we need to multiply it by 17 over 1. What you do on the left-hand side, you do on the right-hand side to get your simplified ratio as 27 is to 17. Okay. So that is it, guys, for today's video tutorial. Like I mentioned, please make sure that you have subscribed to the channel, because in the next question, guys, we're going to be tackling a tree diagram, okay? And this is under the topic of probability. So please make sure that you have subscribed, and please make sure that you've clicked on that notification bell. That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.